I've watched a bare minimum of about 2,000 YouTube videos on building a business and business fundamentals over the last 5 years or so. And if you do the math on that, that's probably about 330 hours of business related content that I've consumed. In reality, it was probably over 4,000 videos that I actually watched. I just didn't want to lie in the title. Point is, there were 11 key takeaways that I got from watching all of these videos, and here they are in no particular order. The first thing is focus. You need to be focused and committed to one thing and one thing only, or as few things as possible. And what this means is, don't start 5 different businesses. Don't even start 2 different businesses. Start one and stick to just that one business, and don't let any opportunities distract you or pull you away from that thing. If you're able to do this and stick to one thing for longer than anybody else, you're going to do way better than all of these people. I've learned this through videos, but also through experience. I used to have really bad shiny object syndrome where I was starting a new Shopify store every 2 months, changing up my strategy and not committing or sticking to any one type of action or strategy. And as a result, I was completely sporadic. I, kept restarting from scratch every 2 to 3 months, and I got nowhere. So only when I actually stuck to one thing for a long enough period of time, which is, 1, 2, 3 years and beyond, did I really start to actually see significant results. Number 2, product or service over everything. Now, this is one thing that has become a lot more popular in the last few years, but without a really strong product or service, your business isn't going to grow on its own. You're not going to get referrals, people are not going to be happy, this, that, and the other. It's extremely important that you have a very, very good product or service. Because hypothetically, if you're spending money on advertising and for every $1 you get in, you get $4 back, right? Let's pretend you spend $1,000 to acquire a $4,000 client, just for a simple example. If your business or product isn't very good, that one client is going to work with you and then not come back and pay you again, or they're not going to refer anybody to you. Alternatively, if your product or service is very good, you'll get that one client, you'll spend $1, you'll make $4, they'll refer you somebody else, so you'll make $8, and at least one of those people may buy another product from you, and you'll make $9,000 or $10,000. So you're going from turning $1 into 4 to turning $1 into 9 or 10. So it is extremely important for the life of your business, but also for, doing the right thing for your customers. It's extremely important that your product or your service is as good as physically possible. And that leads me into point 3, which is kind of a bonus point. I actually wrote 11 here. This one just popped into my mind. Iteration and innovation never ends. You are never done. No matter what happens, if you create a really amazing product, you are never done. If you look at Apple, if you look at Tesla, for 2 very simple tech examples, I don't know, just the first 2 that came to mind for me. There's a new iPhone every year. Part of that is to continue to make sales, but you can't continue to make sales if you don't continue to innovate. Same thing goes with Tesla, any car company, whatever it is, right? You always need to be constantly innovating, or else your product is going to be the old piece of junk because everybody else is innovating. If, Honda stopped innovating 3 years ago and they kept selling, 2019 Honda Civics, they would get wiped out and somebody new would come in order to get, sell a better product for the same price. Right? So innovation is very, very important, and it never ends. Innovation never ends in your marketing, in your sales, in your product, in your business altogether, in your customer service, whatever it is. Innovation and iterations, constant minor improvements, never ever end. So that was a little bonus one there that just popped into my mind. The actual number 3 is that there are 3 core skills to building a business, and you need to possess all 3 in order to build a business to a large scale. The first one is product, as I briefly discussed. The second one is marketing, and the third one is sales. You need to build something important that people want, that functions very well. You need to be able to communicate and, get that in front of other people who are interested in your product or service. And then you need to be able to turn that attention that you're getting into actual dollars, which are sales of the product or service. With these 3 core components, you can build a successful business to way more money than any of us ever need. This 4th one, ignoring noise, is a skill, and I'll give you an example from my personal life. I used to always be concerned about what other people said, what other people thought, and even worse, what marketers were saying in their ads. You may see coaches in your industry saying things such as Facebook ads are dead, or Google ads are dead, or YouTube is the next hot thing, or don't do this model, do this model, or sell new construction real estate, or whatever it is. This is all noise, and all of these people are basically, they've constructed a thesis for their ad, and these are arguing points for you to, move and buy their thing, right? So it's very important that you recognize this, because then you're able to navigate through the noise and not succumb to it. And this will allow you to stay focused significantly easier if you're aware that this is even a thing. And if you put conscious effort to this, then you'll have a much, much easier time navigating through, seeing ads saying that TikTok's the way to go and all this sort of stuff, right? If you've got a strategy that works, stick to it and understand that the rest of it is noise. Your friend down the street giving their opinion, noise. The vast majority of it is noise. You only want to listen to a select group of people, which are coaches that you're actively paying and following their strategies, or mentors that you're working with or that you look up to that have your best interest in mind. And another thing that's important from, watching a bunch of videos and learning is that everybody has different opinions, so you need to find out what works for you. The next one is discipline is more important than tactics and strategies. I've touched on this in previous videos, but in short, if you're not disciplined to doing the same actions consistently for a long period of time, you're screwed. You can try a different type of Facebook ad. You can try a different door knocking technique. Whatever it is, it's not going to work nearly as well as consistently doing the same thing, once a week or once a day or for 2 hours a day, whatever the action is, doing it consistently for months and years. Okay, without doing something for a long enough period of time, you're screwing yourself and dancing between these tactics and strategies. And this is kind of a conversation about focus as well. It's way more important that you do one thing repeatedly for a long period of time than it is how you do that one thing. Because when you do one thing for a long enough period of time, you'll innovate, you'll have new ideas, you'll make your iterations, which are so important because again, innovation can never die, that you'll make the thing work incredibly well over time, and you'll learn the tactics and strategies that are relevant that complement the discipline. The discipline is the foundation the tactics and strategies follow. Number 6, your business model or your offer sells itself. You need to have proper foundations and fundamentals built out in your business. For example, do you solve a problem that people actually have? Or are you just selling something because you want to sell it? You can't sell a product or a service because you want to. You need to sell a product or a service that people want and that people need. If you have a business idea, read a book called The Mom Test, M-O-M. This video goes in great detail about how you can do product or service research before building a product or service and actually find out if a business idea and how to validate a business idea. Find out if a business idea of yours is valid through speaking to potential customers as opposed to asking your mom or asking your friend, what do you think? And they go, oh, it's great, because they're biased towards you and they don't want to hurt your feelings. This allows you to actually find if you're solving a real problem that is relevant. And from there, even in your marketing and in your sales, what matters most is, are you communicating with people and understanding what they need to be solved? And do you actually solve that problem? It's not a game of, I want to sell this. It's a game of, what do you want me to sell? And when you build a business, a product, a service correctly, it kind of just sells itself. Number 7, 99% of business owners suck. It's really not that hard to break away from everybody else in business because 99% of people do the same thing. They copy, and that's pretty much it. Most people just copy other people's strategies. Oh, he's running Facebook ads. I'm going to run Facebook ads. It goes way deeper than that. And this is a harsh way to put it and maybe not the best worldview to have, but it's the truth. And in order to be in the 1%, you just simply kind of ignore what everybody else is doing. Because if you keep doing what they're doing, then you're just going to be another one of the 99 and you're not going to have any real competitive edge. This is why so few people actually, make a lot of money and the rest of the people, just kind of share the rest. Number 8, focusing on money is exactly how not to build a lasting business and income source. If you're focused on the money, then you're going to have short-term thinking. You're going to make silly decisions that you shouldn't make that are going to harm other people and tarnish your brand, and your business is going to spiral in a negative direction and it will not last long-term. You can make quick short-term money in a 1-2 year time horizon, but you're not going to be making money in 5 years, 7 years, 8 years. You're going to have to restart, build a new company, and build a new name from scratch because nobody trusts your company and you've screwed a bunch of people. So if you focus on product or service and not about the money, and you practice patience, then what will happen is you'll build a really good product or service, and I've done this through experience as well, where people really appreciate it and things go well and you actually get people referring you business and so on and so forth. And it takes longer to get to the money or to have the money come in, but when it does, it comes in way more anyway and it lasts way longer anyway. Number 9, your results come down to how bad you want them. How bad do you want $1 million business? If you don't really care, you're not going to get it, because other people will want it more than you, and they'll put in the work, and they'll make it hard for you in order to do that. And they'll make it hard for you to achieve that same thing, right? Because there's always a competition, there's always this rapid innovation that never ends. And if you refuse to innovate because you don't really care that much, somebody else is going to do it. They're going to look better than you. They're going to make yourself harder to sell. They're going to win sales over you. And this kind of just happens on a mass scale globally. So how bad do you really want it? How bad do you really want to make 500K a year, $1 million a year? How bad do you really want to make 4 million a year? If you don't, then you're not going to do it, and it's just not going to happen. People will outwork you, they'll out-innovate you, and so on and so forth. Now, number 10, business is way simpler than most people think. I used to absolutely overcomplicate the life out of everything. It was unbelievable. I'd go, it can't be that simple. It can't be that simple. It is literally that simple. Like, you see people online, oh, just make 100 cold calls a day. You're like, there's no way. You just make 100 cold calls a day. That's it. And you learn as you go. You can build a strategy yourself, or what a smarter thing to do would be, which I'm going to talk about in a second, is pay somebody to learn their strategies and kind of get the shortcut while you continue to make those 100 cold calls a day, where you practice your discipline. This is where the discipline's more important. Then you can pay for the tactics and strategies, combine the two together, and then you have a really strong cold calling strategy that makes you 200 grand a year, for example. Then you can hire team members and have them implement that strategy. You can train them on how to do that, and then you can, take ends from what they're making, and then you can grow your leverage and grow your business even further from there. And number 11, which I kind of just touched on, is pay people to learn from their mistakes. If you go and do everything on your own, it's going to take you a lot longer than it should, or needs to rather, in order to achieve a certain result that you're looking for. I didn't pay too many people early on in my career to learn how to do marketing and this kind of thing. And it really ended up hurting me, right? It really slowed down my results and my progress. Things really changed for me when I started to pay people to learn their mindset strategies, their, marketing, their product development, their, problem solving skills in a marketplace. When I learned these things, you learn the core fundamentals, which are really, really important, that you don't know that you actually need. This is huge. A lot of people don't know what they need to know, and paying people for their information teaches you what you don't know that you need to know. This is the concept of the unknowns, right? Very, very, very important. So that wraps up for this video. If you liked it, hit like, hit subscribe, watch something else that's on screen now. See you soon.